Hello! My ears won't stay up. That ear keeps, I have a floppy ear. This ear stays up. I can hear out of this ear. Oh, hello. To review, I wanted to show you guys a few things about the math we talked about this week. I wanted to remind you that we talked about partitioning and that we talked about fractions. Yeah, that's right. We started talking about fractions. So let's go and take a look way back there. There. Over there. Right there. You can see that I've got a piece of paper here and I'm going to draw a rectangle to start. And in my rectangle, I want to partition it. Partitioning means that I'm going to separate it. So I'm going to partition it into two parts. Do you see how I've made two parts? This is one half of the rectangle, and here is another half of the rectangle. So that means I have not just one, but I have two. So this right here represents two halves. Now this right here, this cut, is where I partitioned the rectangle, and I made my fraction. So we're taking what we know about rows and columns and we're turning it into something that tells us a bit more about a shape or an object and its parts. So right now, what do I have? I have one whole. That's 1 over 1. There's one big, huge part, and it's not cut up, so there's one total parts. Now, if I shade that in, that means one whole, right? What if I only had a rectangle that was cut in half and only had this amount shaded in? That means I have one half. Because I'm showing you the part that's represented and I'm showing you the part that's left out. I've shaded the part that I want to represent. What am I representing? I'm representing only half of it, correct? So that means this is one half. So we have one whole and one half. This is one whole, and this is one half. All right? Last but not least, the other things that we talked about were where we take, and I'm going to flip this paper back over, where we take and we make our rows and our columns. And this is from earlier on in the week and last week. So if I were to take and make this into 2 rows and 2 columns, then I would first have to figure out where are my rows. Well, my rows are always going to be horizontal. So I would go, okay, well, I need to cut it once to make 2 rows, because when you are making your rows, however many rows it is, you always do one less. How many rows do I have? How many rows do I need? 2. When I cut it in half once, that makes how many rows? 1 row, 2 rows. All right, 2 columns. I'm going to do the same thing, except for it's going to be vertical. So my 2 columns, I'm going to go down the middle, and I'm going to cut it. And you see I've got 1 column and my second column. I only had to cut it once for the columns. I only had to cut it once for the rows. What if I had 3 rows and 3 columns? So we'll make 1 more and then we're going to be done. We want 3 rows and 3 columns. Let's see if you can figure it out. Think about it. Look back at the original. It only took 1 line to make 2 rows. Do you remember what I said? I said that in order to make the correct number of rows, you just take 1 away. So what's 2 take away 1? 1. So we had 1 line. Well, then what's 3 take away 1? That'd be 2. So we're going to make 2 lines. 1, 2. This is very hard when I only have 1 hand to hold the camera and 1 hand to hold the paper and pen. All right, so now do you see that we have 3 rows? 1, 2, 3. There's our 3 rows. And now we need to make 3 columns. What would we do to make our 3 columns? Remember what I said? Good, you remembered. I assume you remembered. We'll see. First, you're going to make 2 lines because 3 take away 1 leaves you with 2. So that means you are going to make 2 cuts. And your 2 cuts will make 1, 2, 3 columns. Very good. Now, how many total parts do you see in your figure? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What if I only shade one of them in? 1 part is selected, so that goes on the top. And there are how many parts total? There are 9 parts total. So this right here represents 1/9. How about up here? What if I shade 1 part out of 4? Well, that's easy. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 total parts. Do you see where I'm putting my total parts? On the bottom. That's my denominator. And then I have 1 selected part, my numerator. So I have 1/4. Let's go back over there. After all that math over there, I am ready to go and check on my turtles. I bet you are ready for tomorrow's quiz or test. And if you're not, you can always go back and check again. So I'll see you guys later, and you guys can say bye to Alphaeus and Cleo, who's sleeping down there a little bit. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.